It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And do we have a lot to talk about, which I actually thought we didn't have a lot to talk about, but watching the show, watching this episode of The Real Housewives of New York, the footage that they shouldn't have kept away from us because maybe it wouldn't have been such a garbage season has come out. So you guys know that I can't do this by myself, but before we bring up Kempire, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. I'll go ahead and trigger this cute little banner here, and let's bring up Kempire.
You're right.
Hi. I was channeling my Nini with her.
Oh, Lord. Shout out to Nini.
Yeah, Nini, we're sending you love, by the way, even though I know you don't like me, but I still love you. Okay.
What?
Yeah, Nini doesn't like me.
Why?
I think I told you guys this because of that Mariah Carey after party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nini's
like
not. She's not an Adam fan, but that's okay. I'm still a Nini fan.
Of anyone?
Well, her kids.
Well,
Marlo.
Now.
Oh, I mean, that could change any second. But anyways, Nini, we're sending you your love, or our love, and rest in heaven. Greg, that is so sad to me. That hurts my heart. But all right, we're back to talk about RHONY Kempire. What did you think of this episode?
I wasn't sure if we were going to have anything, but there were a lot of little moments I kind of wish that they kept in during the season. But it was good. It was cute. It was fun. It was something different that they were doing. And I didn't expect a lot. Don't expect this to be a ratings bonanza because, they already had some sucky ratings this season. But it was a cute little something.
It was a cute little something. And, I wonder, are we just going to take a break next week and not get anything else until we finally get the reunion? Because this has been pushed back for so long. I don't even think they still haven't taped it. I believe it's coming at the end of September. So they're filming the Beverly Hills reunion before they're even filming the RHONY reunion. And at the point that we get the damn reunion, I don't think anybody's going to give a shit.
Literally someone, and I'm not gonna call them out, but they commented when I reposted that we were talking about this. They're like, I love you, but I can't. So I'm wondering, I mean, and when they say they can't about RHONY.
I was about to say, is that who I think it is?
No.
Oh, okay. I'd be like, girl,
no, I think
your life.
But it is, no one can really get into it. And that's why when I tweeted, I said, you might not like RHONY, and RHONY's a crappy season, but you're going to enjoy our recap of it because we're going to digress probably many times during this. But it was a cute little something that they added, and I just don't think people will care. If they haven't even filmed the reunion yet, they're not going to care in a week, never less 4 or 5 weeks.
I know. And that's the problem. I think that they really missed the mark here this season with RHONY. And I know that they're going to most likely delay production and try to figure out what they can do to revamp this franchise. But we didn't need you to delay the damn reunion. I think that's probably not doing anyone any justice. Ramona, I'm still blaming you. But I'm just kidding. Natalie P, hey guys, I love your collabs. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm going to let you pick first. Where should we start?
Oh my God. Since you mentioned Ramona, I have to say, based on just what we saw in all these little clips, first of all, I know a lot of people think that these women are of leisure and have lots of money. If anything, this blooper episode pretty much shows us that she has no class. I don't care how much money you have. She has no class. You pick gum up off the floor and you put it back in your mouth.
You dirty little hamster.
I mean, we already knew Sonya was nasty. We got confirmation of that this episode too. Just like you're eating moldy supplements and it's gross. I'm just like they're disgusting.
They really are kind of a little gross, incestuous little Upper East Side group, except for Leah and Eboni, obviously, because they're not on the Upper East Side and they're not anything like the other women. But no, they're a little out there. And watching this episode, since we're talking about Ramona, it's just. I've heard rumors, and it's funny for me to see her dynamic with Avery. I've heard Avery does not like being around the cameras. I've heard that Avery and all of her friends think this whole thing is a big joke. Like, she hates that her mom's on the show. And then when her mom's calling her to let her know, Avery, I'm studying for real estate. She's like, Mom, I don't care. I'm like, Avery, this is your birth giver.
But she's always been like that. Come on, let's not forget the early seasons. Avery has been like this. She has called the shots in that family since she was a little girl.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It kind of gave me flashbacks to that. She's like, we know she doesn't care. She still doesn't care. How many years later? So she's refreshing.
Yeah. Do you remember when Ramona would try to like get dressed up and put on like skirts and get ready and pack for the Hamptons, and Avery would be like, "Really, Mom?
Yeah.
Really?"
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. Now I feel like her behavior has just gotten worse. But I do like their dynamic between her. Well, why am I blanking on her ex-husband's name?
Mario,
yes. Mario, Ramona, and Avery. I like the dynamic between them because it seems like a modern day dynamic, and it's good. It makes sense.
What was that little, I guess, sitcom-y thing they tried to do? I thought that was corny. I was like, okay, we didn't need this.
Yeah, at the end, no.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I missed it, but you saw the part where she's talking about Avery, and I think this might have been either I missed it because I watched the episode twice looking for it, or it was kind of like an editing mishap. But we see where Ramona, it's coming up that she's telling Avery, listen, I don't have enough room in this apartment for your stuff. You kind of got to get your shit together and go. And then we see a preview where LUANN's going to be sitting down with Ramona and talking about that. But then I never saw that sit down. Did I just miss it?
No, that was it. Unless you fast forwarded, because even when it seemed like they were going to commercial, they didn't go to commercial. So
that was the whole conversation.
Yeah, they pretty much was showing Ramona's hypocrisy. Like 1 minute, you're complaining about your daughter living there, and then the next minute you're saying, "Oh, but my daughter's not living with me." And LUANN calls her out. You said you kicked your daughter out.
Yeah, come on, Ramona. Especially when it's all caught on camera, and I love that Avery's very aware of that, because when she's turning on all the different little pots and pans and whatever, and she's getting the stovetop ready, Ramona's like, "No, I told you to do this and not burn them, and don't do this with the green beans." And she's like, "Roll the tape. That is not what you said."
And they did.
And they did. Good job, Avery.
We needed more of Avery this season. Apparently, they had the footage. They just didn't use it.
Yeah, but also Avery and Leah have had this back and forth because Leah has said she's been very active on social media. This happened during the first season because Avery was like, "Mom," this was during COVID, "how can you film with someone who's just she's so gross for the brand? She acts like a child." And she went in on Leah, and Leah went back in on Avery, and Ramona tried to put a halt to it. And she's like, "No, bitch, your daughter is closer to my age than I am to your age. So Avery is fair game. I don't care if that's your kid or not. If she's going to talk about me, be careful." It's like,
oh, let me find out that Avery's my new favorite person in the world.
Oh gosh, I shouldn't have even said anything. All right.
Come on, we only have a couple more weeks to well, we only have this week really, because who knows? I mean, the reunion, we're going to have to recap regardless. I don't care when it airs. It can air in 2022. We're going to have to recap and talk about it.
I mean, if we mucked it through this whole season, yeah, we're definitely going to have to sit down and talk about that, which is kind of unfortunate, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully it brings the ratings. But one group of people who I felt like they're victims of this franchise, and one of the cast members, I was watching this and I couldn't get an updated photo of them, but I got a photo of some of them from before. These poor interns.
Oh, pickles.
These interns are always like, they have to muck it. They have to pick her nose for her. They have to help soften and flush her feces. They have to tell her not to eat moldy vitamins. Like, Sonya really is. I like her on the show, but she's gross.
I'm shocked that this hasn't blown up in Sonya's face as in a lawsuit.
Really?
Yeah, because some of the things that she's asking them to do is it's problematic.
And she touched one of their boobs.
Yeah. Look, I know she doesn't mean harm, but this is being aired on TV, and it's like, this is not okay. I would not want to do it. I would not want to do it. First of all, I wouldn't want to be in her house. These women are nasty.
When you don't flush your bathroom for 2 days because you need things, that is the grossest thing that I have ever heard. It's so nasty. And then you also have to sit there and wipe the poodle's ass.
I can't.
No, ma'am.
That's gross.
No.
Look, it's gross.
I'm done with you, Sonya Morgan. And I don't understand how she's qualified. I get it. You have the Morgan last name, but does that last name carry enough weight to let you have a whole internship program? And what school is crediting this internship program?
I really want to know that part because they're going to lose their accreditation.
Right. Is it NYU? Is it the fashion school over there? What?
You notice they never mentioned the school.
They never mention the school, but when she's like, I have to look up new, interns because you're going back to school. Well, this one's blonde. Oh, I don't mean to be prejudiced, but I'm going to keep the blonde one because she's cute and I just like that. And this one's gay, so maybe he can help me with my closet. This one had a 3.0, but she does charity work. So yep, these three will do as my new minions.
And the only reason why I'm doing it's not because of her Morgan last name. It has to do with her being on TV.
Yep. No. Again, no, ma'am. I worked for somebody who was on TV, also on a Real Housewives franchise, who was 10 times more popular than Sonya Morgan. And if you asked me to go wipe the dog's ass, I would be like, I'm sorry. I quit.
Let's be real. We already know that housewife does have someone wiping those dogs' butt.
Right, but it wouldn't be me. And I can assure you it's damn sure not a bunch of interns. It's someone who's getting paid a lot of money to get the job done. So it's very different. Sonya Morgan has like a little troop of freebies running around the house.
Yes, freebies. Don't call them interns. Call them freebies.
Yeah, freebies. They're not even interns. There's nothing that they're learning. And I felt bad because you see one of the girls, there's two girls in one of the scenes. One is an Asian girl and one is a blonde girl. And we didn't get their names, I don't believe. But you even see the Asian girl and the blonde girl, they're looking at Sonya like, what are we learning from you? Like if my parents knew that they're most likely paying to send me to this expensive ass school and this is what I'm learning in my internship, they would probably be like, where did we go wrong?
Yeah, I'm asking them where did we all go wrong? Why are you interning for this woman? You're not learning anything.
Well, what FC says Sonya Morgan has a bunch of people who want to be on TV. I don't know if that's true because I'm sure the interns know, like, even if you're featured in an episode or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Who cares?
Adam, people, if they get their faces on television one moment, they're happy, they're excited, they're hosting parties. I mean, sidebar, Bershan, hosting big parties and you're barely on the season.
Where are you going to go in on Bershan at? Let's switch this conversation up because I can't talk about Miss Morgan and her non-etiquette school of interns.
Bershan. I mean, look here. I mean, it was the perfect segue when we talk about people making a big deal of being on TV for a moment. Bershan was only on this. We could probably count on one hand the amount of times we saw Bershan this season. Luckily, we were lucky to even see Bershan during this whole special that they did.
Actually, let's try that really quick. We caught her at the finale in the Hamptons. We caught her at Sonya and Ramona's joint birthday party. Yeah. We caught her at the Harlem Nights birthday or dinner. Mm-hmm. We caught her in Salem. Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
There might be one other thing that we're missing, but it probably is 5.
Oh, and then we saw where they're all spitting into the trash can.
Oh, yeah. So
we caught 5, and that didn't even make it to air. So until last night. Yeah, you're right. And Bershan, we love you. So we're not if we're shading you, it's fun shade.
We're being real, Bershan.
You asked for that.
Yes.
You did ask for that. So just to be fair, I laughed and I love it a little bit inside because Bershan threw kind of like a premiere party for herself. I believe it was in Maryland because Candace Dillard Bassett showed up and a few of the Potomac housewives showed up to support her. And we've heard that she's been in Maryland, not even in New York. So I don't really know what that connection is. But
Bershan, New York briefly. I got a FaceTime with her.
Right. But does she live in New York? Is there a residence?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've never run into her on the street.
Okay. Well, we haven't run into a lot of them on the street, but the point is, like, what is your zip code? That's what I want to know. And if it's not, I don't even care. Honestly, the Potomac women get away from it with it, whatever. Like Mia Thornton's all the way in Baltimore. So it's not even that. Are you in the same state? That's what I want to know. Just what is your state? I don't give a shit about the zip code at this point. I just want to know what state you're in. But the whole point was Bershan threw this premiere party, like coming out party, like, yes, darling, we are on the Real Housewives of New York and everyone wants me to be the front runner, and they all love me. Remember how she was telling us how much everyone loved her?
Yeah.
Remember? And I was like,
look, and Bershan, I know you're watching.
Bershan, we love you.
I don't know about that, but I don't know her to love her.
We love you like in a same way that I love my wallpaper in my bathroom. No, that was shitty.
I don't know if that's a good correlation. Bershan just came across, I liked her for a little bit. I wish we got to see a little bit more of her because it's hard to judge her off of 5 appearances. But she comes across like, oh my God, I want to be on TV. Oh my God, I really want an apple. It didn't come across authentic. It didn't come across cool or laid back. She came across like, oh my God, I want to be on TV.
I kind of agree with you. Yeah, Kat said, okay, boys, tisk, be nice. I don't feel like we're not being nice, to be fair.
Yeah, Kat, you haven't met me.
Got you, Adam. Dang, up and Adam. Shady. That's not, I'm not being shady. I like Bershan. Kempire was the one who was trashing her. I'm over
here. Here we go with the truck.
Okay, so speaking of Bershan, she was one of the newbies this season who really wanted an apple, but I don't even know if she didn't get the rind of the apple. She didn't get there was no apple given here. But one of our other newbies who I actually grew to like a lot more during this is Miss Eboni K. Williams.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is a great photo of her. Okay, so Eboni K. Williams in this episode, we see the not having it Natalie, her friend. We see just a lot of her fun, quirky sides, which I really appreciated it. And I felt like they should have shown more of this of her on the show, and fans would have responded even better to having her, right? Is that fair?
I think a lot of people forgot what we got in the beginning. I think people just put a bullseye on her after she was bringing up necessary things. And I think they forgot in the beginning, we got so many different levels of Eboni during the season. And I think that people just allow a couple of moments to overshadow every other thing that we got from her over the season. So I wasn't surprised by what we saw in last night's episode.
You know what I was surprised about, though, is that they let her friend Natalie in on the confessional.
Oh, my God. Didn't I say we needed more from Natalie? And based off this episode, I was like, see, Natalie had a lot of shadiness in her that I loved.
And you could tell Eboni was trying to give her a platform or get her in there, because she had her at the sit down where Sonya Morgan is like, this isn't right, and like slamming her hands down on the couch and just going off the walls. And Natalie's like, oh, I don't know who your friends are, but are we done with this? And then we see her at the Harlem Nights, dinner, and Eboni even says to her across the table, like, Natalie, you're being so quiet. This isn't like you. Get in the conversation. So you could tell, wanted to bring Natalie in, but Natalie was seeing how these group of women, how they operate. And she's like, no, you can keep that level of crazy. I don't need to be on TV. I don't care.
Yeah. She's the total opposite of Bershan. And I liked it. I like that about her. And I've said before when we were recapping this, we're not getting a lot from her, but she really just kind of played it cool. And I'm sure she had a lot to say off camera to Eboni.
Right. I'm sure she's probably like, why are we doing this again?
Like, why are you doing this? Are you going to keep doing this? Are you really doing this?
Okay. Well, one of the MVPs of this season and last season, everyone has grown to love him. And I'm sure his business is booming. This man, who looks like he has snot in his nose. And I did not realize that one. But he has his apple.
Oh.
So I think this guy is more real than the Real Housewives. And he's so straight up. And one of my favorite scenes in this episode was when he was trying to give this motivational speech to Leah and her sister, Sarah. And as he's talking to them, she's like, do you have some water? I'm serious. Like, I have a UTI.
Again, these ladies are nasty. And they also labeled her, I don't know if you noticed this, Twitter's favorite. I was like, oh, shoot, the shade.
Is that what they labeled her?
Yeah, they said Twitter's favorite.
No,
you got to watch it multiple times. I'm like, wait a second. Someone also commented, I forgot his name. You guys will remind us this guy's name in the comments or in the chat. A lot of people were commenting on my Twitter saying, like, why is Bravo trying to make this guy happen? Because they had nothing else.
Yeah. Well, and he's a character. It's like one of those weird things. Like when you get a character that's just so quirky, reality TV celebrates that person. It's like having Big Ed or Angela Dean or this man or Ramona, which, by the way, Ebony said that her dog looked like Natalie in this episode. And if you kind of look at the eyes, never mind. Guys, we're not being shady.
They do say that,
Martin. Sorry.
Martin. Thank you, guys. I couldn't remember. Martin's not going to happen. We won't see Martin next season because Leah won't be back. They do say that sometimes you start as the owner of a dog, you start to look like each other. I've noticed that.
Jason and I used to make that joke all the time when we in Los Angeles, because we would go to the dog park. Like if we take the dogs here, Jason actually just got back from the dog park now, and it's our first time taking them here since we moved here because we just take them to the dog beach. But when we would go to the dog park in LA, you had all of these people and they looked just like their dogs. Like you had a pug. This man looked like a pug. You had a Pomeranian. This woman comes out with this bushy, like blonde hair, and she's like, has the same bow in it. You always had some kind of, like you see like the quirky guy over here shaking and he has like the little chihuahua. I'm like, what the hell is happening over here? They're transforming into their animals.
I think it's funny.
Well, okay. Another scene that we got in this episode was LUANN de Lesseps, whatever. Countess LUANN, who is no longer a countess, she got her tattoo. It was a lotus. And when she kept on saying lotus, for some reason, I was thinking of a locust.
Oh.
So I was thinking, for some reason, I'm like, you're going to get a cricket on you? That wasn't what it was. It was a lotus flower. And she's getting this tattoo. But when she came in and she showed the giant tramp stamp, for some reason, I was one of the gullible ones who bought it. And I was like, no, you did not just do that. That's massive. And it's not a good tramp stamp.
Yeah.
I like sometimes a good tramp stamp. Has to be very tasteful because a tramp stamp usually is not. But I can appreciate some of them, and that was not one of them.
I don't think I've ever seen a tasteful tramp stamp.
I think I've seen two. One girl actually got my middle name on her back above her butt. Yeah, I had a girlfriend in high school, and they were best friends. And then I started dating my girlfriend, and her best friend got mad at her, and she was like, "I hate you," and just was like kind of off the hinge, nutso. And then she ended up going one night. We were hanging out partying. She had a fake ID, and we went to a tattoo parlor, and she got my middle name real big across her back. And I was like,
coy.
What? Yes.
On her back. So she still has that to today.
I mean, I don't know if she got it covered up or what, but she had it. She got it when she was like 16 or 17, and her fake ID said that she was 19. And then when the guy asked her, who is this? She's like, oh, that's the name of my baby. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable. I look like
you know what I have to say, right?
What?
I'm going to give us a 90-day reference to what they said in Ethiopia. That's some white people stuff, right?
I mean, she was white, so maybe. I don't know. She was white, but
yeah. Wait. I know we're digressing, but what did your girlfriend at the time say or do?
She said, well, one, why were you out with her at a party? And I'm like, secretly in my head, I'm like, I'm gay. I'm just hanging out. And two, she's like, that bitch is crazy. She's crazy. And now we laugh about it and we wonder where she is and if she still has the tattoo. Yeah.
I mean, can we find out? I mean, we need to do some research, people.
She was nuts. I know we're digressing again, like Kempire said, but just one more funny story. I invited her and a few other people over for a pool party one time when I was in high school. And my dad went to Dunkin' Donuts and got these, like the big donuts, and there was a dozen of them. And she came in, she was built like a Barbie doll, but came in and literally grabbed the thing of donuts, walks outside, sits by the pool, eats 12 donuts. My dad went to go take a shower, comes back out. There's 2 left in the box. And she's like, hey, says his name, you want a donut? And he's like, Adam, get your friend. Get your friend. Because my dad's a big guy. He's like, you don't take a fat man's donuts. That's what he said. He's like, you don't do that shit. You need get your friend. I was like, oh, okay, Dad, sorry.
Oh, she was a weird one.
Yeah, she was just kooky. You have to kind of slowly let those people go so they don't come back and get you. So you got to kind of just like let them go slowly.
Yeah, we need to stop talking about it because she might be watching.
Yeah, she's going to come get my ass. Okay. All right. So in this episode, though, is there anything that you felt like you learned that was new? Did you get anything? Did it make you feel some kind of way, in a good way, about the franchise? Or were you just like, oh, this was a nice ending off note, but no, this was such a bad season?
I don't know if this was even a nice ending off note. It was cute to watch. I really only watched it because I thought we probably would talk about it. And I watched it twice because we knew we were going to talk about it. I'm like, it really was okay. It was okay. It was cute to see some little moments. Some moments made me laugh, but a lot of moments made me cringe because they're nasty.
Yeah.
I can't even think of anything that was just like worth watching. I'm sure the ratings for this was very low, but normally it's low for a show, for versions of this like that they've done in the past.
Yeah, and it really is. It's nasty watching the women. Like, we've seen it. Was it in Colombia where they were like defecating all over the floor? It's like we've seen this so much, and I'm over it.
It was this season that they were defecating on the floor too. You know,
it doesn't stop. It's just gross. Danielle Hunt, yes, I am. Actually, she might be moving into my building. So
what?
I'd like to keep people close.
Wait. This is not the same one that outed you.
No, that's not a girlfriend. That's Satan.
That was just a friend.
No, that was if I can vomit on this table, that's what I would call that.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that. I know that you're talking about the defecation, but I'm talking about this person who if I say loathe, that means I don't like them, right?
Say it again.
If I say I loathe this person, yeah, I loathe her. But I wish her the best, her and her family. I just wish her the best from afar and don't want her anywhere near me. That's all.
But if you guys want to hear the story, listen to Kempire Radio.
Cartagena. Yes, that's where it was.
Yes.
That's where it was. Okay.
In Colombia, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was in Colombia. Okay. Oh, my God. If she moves into your building, you have to bring her on first story times. Ooh. She's super shy. I don't think she would even talk. I didn't think she would talk to Jason. But, okay. All right. Well, with that, guys, we've done about 30 minutes on this episode. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about, but what we do know is that today is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Day. That is happening. I cannot wait for this episode tonight because the dinner party from Hell Part 2 is about to be Part 2.5, and we're getting the moment where Erica is about to technically threaten Sutton.
Technically?
Or what? Sutton.
Or what?
Yeah. And she said, I'm going to come for you.
Garcelle should have just slapped her by the back of her head. Like,
could you imagine if she would have been like Erica would have, no, you can't do that. Erica would have made all of her money back that she owes for the lawyer fees by suing Garcelle. She'd be like, I don't have a home that I own at this point. I'm renting over here in West Hollywood or wherever she's renting, but I'm about to own your home in the Valley because you put your hands on me.
Yeah. Or, you know what? I just wish, we don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I hope that Garcelle does stand up for Sutton. And look, I love the fact that Sutton, even though she does seem a little timid, she just says, or nothing. I do like that. Okay. All right.
Could you imagine if Kathy Hilton would have been like, Patrick? And then all of a sudden, like, the Royal Guard comes in and, like, picks up Erica's seat, just starts walking her out, the little Royal Hilton Guard.
I don't know. Erica is more sinister than we have given her credit. Yes, she's just sort of used her words, but she's definitely more sinister than we've given her credit. And sidebar, I hope we can talk about this. We have to talk about the 2 minutes that we got to see of Salt Lake City.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And before we do, did you see that comment that Dr. Tiffany Moon commented on on her Instagram photo of her laying naked saying, do you need some clothes, boo?
I like Tiffany Moon. We need to move her out to Beverly Hills.
That's what I said to her. So I have an interview with Dr. Tiffany Moon tomorrow, which is going to be fun. Yeah, we're going to, of course, we have her PR people on the line. So we all know how this works. Everything has to be censored, but we're still going to have a great conversation. We've already talked about it, and you have to, like, it's kind of weird because when you do some of these interviews, you have to make sure, because everything is being so censored, that you still have great content and things to talk about, like good topics, or else why are you doing the interview? And the good thing for Dr. Tiffany Moon is she has like a whole past that we don't know about, that we didn't really get to see a whole lot of, and a lot of experience. So I'm interested. I have a ton of questions for her, and I think it's going to be a great conversation. And I also love the shade, and she loves watching the channel. So
I don't think her interview will be that censored. You know why? Because she's no longer under contract with Bravo.
Yeah, but I feel like there's bigger plans in the works. Like I know that we've all heard about this Married to Medicine Dallas, but now maybe that could even be, who knows? Who knows? I told her, I said, you should go to Beverly Hills. She's like, I would love to. I know all of them. I was like,
oh,
okay. All right, Dr. Tiffany Moon.
we need to see more of her. She's Tiffany, we talk.
Dr. Tiffany to you?
Doctor.
Okay.
Oh, I always call her Dr. Tiffany. The one time I don't.
Okay, Bershaw. You mess up her name.
Okay, all right. Dr. Tiffany Moon. I do feel like she's a little bit of a, what's the word? I don't need to see all your wares. She's always promoting something. I don't love that. I get it. I love a hustle, but I think that turns off a lot of people too.
That she has good fashion?
No, that she likes this, she's promoting this, she's promoting that. It's always something she's promoting. And I'm like, don't be surprised she's promoting something on your interview.
Leave her alone.
I love her. I was her biggest advocate on the show.
Yeah, you sound like it. Okay.
Oh my God.
We need more of Dr. Tiffany Moon. All right, guys, if you haven't already, again, make sure you smash that like button. Kempire asked if we could talk about the first 2 minutes of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which we obviously will be covering every step of the way. When they gave us that footage ahead of time, I was shocked, but it was a great way to get people excited for this season. And watching it, okay, here's a few things here. When Jen Shah got the call, it looked like she literally Sonya Morgan herself. Like just defecated herself. I don't know.
Oh! Well, no, that would have been a Ramona singer. Come on now.
Oh, okay.
Ramona.
It looked like she Ramona'd herself, but you see her and she's like talking to Coach Shaw and he's saying something. And then all of a sudden when she asked Whitney to turn off the mic, what was that Real Housewives of Atlanta moment where the women go outside? It was Eva Marcel and Nene Leakes. And she asked Nene, is your mic off? And Nene was like, yes. It would have been so funny if Whitney actually didn't turn off the mic, but Jen Shah would have like that. She would have grabbed her and raked her across the table. She would have had a Monique and Candace moment.
But regardless, we would have gotten the audio.
We would have gotten the audio. And
oh my God, that would
Whitney Rose would have gotten like a 3 good seasons out of it. They would have been like, oh yes, you did that for us. Now we're going to do this for you. But in this episode, I couldn't tell if it was Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, or the producer with the blonde hair talking to Jen Shah outside. And they're like, yeah, you look flustered. And she's like, yeah, I have to go. And we heard that it was something with Coach Shah. There are a few things that are kind of annoying to me about this, though. One is Lisa Barlow saying someone had to let the feds know that we were here. The feds have been following her this whole time. The feds have been, no. Ask Emily D. Baker. When you indict someone and you unseal those documents, I
just had to pull it. I was like, wait a second, I have those photos.
Look at that face. Like she's like, oh shit, my life is coming to an end.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And when
Lisa would you feel that way though? Oof.
When Lisa said that, I'm like, nobody, and then they try to give us this whole thing at the end where they're like, do you know who tipped off the feds? And Mary Cosby's like, I'm like, Mary Cosby, somebody's going to tip off the feds about you too with your church. Honestly, she's not I don't know why you're smirking over here because your time is coming too. There's been a lot of allegations about you, and 9 times out of 10, where there's smoke, there's fire. So, and you just actually, I don't know what happened with it, but she was called into court in August anyways it was like harboring a minor allegedly or something like that with her and her son. So smirk over here, okay? Unless you're Lisa Barlow, Meredith Marks, Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, or Jenny Nguyen, the ones who have no legal issues going on, right, and they're maybe arguing with their husband a little bit or being accused of being a swinger, like they have surface level problems that they can about. But you two,
Whitney?
Huh?
Whitney's a swinger?
Lisa Barlow accused her of being a swinger last year, and she said, no, I'm not a swinger. I don't think she's a swinger at all. I think that she's just a different level of fun. And we have to remember, she's probably one of the youngest housewives ever. When she filmed her first season, she was 30 years old. Oh. She's younger than Lala Kent.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's young. She's really young. But I don't know. Watching this episode, watching this 2-minute clip, it made me really excited. But then when the women are talking and Whitney Rose is reading the article, she's like, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star is indicted on fraud charges of telemarketing scheme and money laundering. And they're all like, I was like, yeah, I gasped because this shit's about to get really bad.
That would have been me too, though. Watching that whole thing unfold, I was like, well, that was me the day it happened. I was like, oh my God, what is going on, Jen Shaw?
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said right here, Tina Villalobos. Mary is gross. I don't, Kempire, I love you. Anna said, Kempire, I love you, but I can never hear you.
Why can you hear me? Testing.
I can hear you. Do we have an update on the Mary allegations? We'll get to that when we start I was going to say debunking these episodes, but breaking down these episodes is more appropriate. The only thing I don't like about Mary so far going into this season is her tagline. If you come for me, I will send Jesus for you. I'm like, that's your tagline? Who? And Jen Shaw, girl. Oh, that tagline. That was, are you just trying to have a permanent bench in federal prison?
Oh,
like,
she's going to jail.
That tagline, the only thing that, what did she say? The only thing that's fraud about, wait, what did
you have to pull this stuff up? Come on now.
It was
prepared.
The only thing I'm guilty of is being Shaw-mazing. Well, we saw the photos of Teresa Giudice when she was in prison, and she wasn't the same Teresa Giudice. So I don't know what Shaw-mazing is going to look like after 8 years in federal prison.
Is that what we're estimating?
Well, they're saying anywhere from 7 to 10 right now because everyone else is taking the plea deals and the tiers, right? There's only 3 people left. Stuart Smith, her former attorney, was one of them. And now it's just Jen Shaw and one other guy. And if he takes a plea deal before her and they're all in the plea deals, they have to kind of point fingers at who they're calling the ringleader of this. If this person takes a plea deal, which Jen Shaw has said, I am not taking a plea deal. If that person takes a plea deal, she can't offer them anything. That's what Emily D. Baker said. There's nothing left for them to offer her. She just goes to court, tries to fight out her case, and then if she's found guilty, she gets sentenced. I think it's a very silly route that she took.
Yeah. That's it's just I'm telling you, those 2 minutes were so stand out for me because when we first got the little teaser a few weeks ago, I was like, okay, but where is the arrest? Where is the arrest?
Yeah, I think Bravo probably heard that a lot of fans wanted that. So that's most likely why they give it to us. Bethany, the Pale One Kent. Biggest pet peeve when people use Jesus' name like that when she clearly worships the God written about on money and does not know the God Father. She shouldn't. I don't know how to say that word.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, his name like that. Okay. Were her boys working for her, talking about Jen Shaw? Not that I'm aware of. I would hope not. Plus, Jen is stubborn and stupid. She is going to the big house, not a chalet either. Ugh.
We're getting Chalet 2.0.
Okay, with your rented house. Who do you actually think? Because we know Meredith Marks rents her house. We know Jen Shaw rents her house. Mary Cosby, she definitely lives in that house.
Yeah, she owns that house.
She owns that house. Whitney Rose definitely owns her house. Jason thinks Lisa Barlow rents her house because there's no photos or any, like in the house, you don't see any family photos or anything up. So he thinks that she's renting that house.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I know that isn't Lisa from New York, so maybe she owns something around here. And maybe she's renting there. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing. We got to destigmatize renting. There's nothing wrong with renting, especially if you're managing your money correctly in every other way. I mean, actually, it is a waste, but you know.
Well, technically, Elon Musk said being a homeowner is more wasteful than being a renter because being a renter, you can pick up your life and go anywhere you want. If the roof caves in, if something happens, you don't have to pay for it. You just pay your rent and you keep going because he's like, how many people pay off their houses in their lifetimes? And that's true. There's a lot of people who over the course of their life, they can't pay it off and maybe you pass it off to your kid. But
is Elon Musk renting though?
Actually, I think he lives in like an 800 square foot. He lives in like a small house with I think it's his wife and his kids, like AXR2LP NMNOC GF. Ugh. Did you not see the name of his kid?
No.
Oh my gosh, Google it later. It's like A Fahrenheit sign XYZ E dash. Like it's like there was a whole there. Yeah, it's like a code, and people had to figure out how to say his name. It was a whole thing.
Elon Musk's son.
Yes, Elon Musk's son. This is a problem with a lot of these housewives. They pretend they have money. She married her grandfather to inherit a church. Ooh, what kind of church is that? Synagogue of Satan, passing family members around like that. Like, oh, okay. Especially in this market. But if they are lying about it, acting like they do own the house, then it's a problem.
Well, I think some of the housewives rent, especially now after the show has been on for years, they're able to better prepare themselves, especially speaking to other housewives. I think some of them might rent it just for filming. And
not only that, it's part of a write-off, if that's the case. So J.A. said, I don't want to see Meredith's son this season. Brooks.
Oh, really?
Brooks is going to be a big part of this season too, though, because Jen Shah has liked tweets that are pretty distasteful when it comes to Brooks Marks. So I know that we will be seeing him. But last season, he had like a little prominent role. He's like the Avery in that house. Yeah, and he's more interesting than his mother. Sorry, Meredith. It's true. Don't bash Meredith Marks. We love her.
How's that bashing? I'm being honest.
Don't be honest about Meredith Marks. We love her. All right. How can Jen and some other housewives rent these large and pricey houses when they have no money? Credit cards? Thank you, Laura Hartman, for the super chat. I actually don't have the answer for you. Well, we know for Jen Shah, she's being accused of allegedly, stealing millions of dollars from victims. So we don't know. A lot of them have businesses. I don't know for this particular case. I don't even want to comment on that.
Yeah, we don't know. We go to people like Emily D. Baker for clarity.
Yeah. My BFF owns homes she rents, and she has lived in an apartment.
See?
Okay. All right. Well, anything else you have to add to this?
It's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to everyone that's recapping it. I'm looking forward to watching it multiple times. Based on that 2 minutes, it looks like it's going to be a very interesting season. But I do think that Jen Shah, very much like Erica Jane, is going to put her foot in her mouth multiple times, if not worse.
Yes. And she had time to come up with a very clever tagline. And I feel like this was probably not one of them. Amira said Elon Musk's son's name is this. That's what the son's name is, by the way.
I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Right. Didn't Karen from Real Housewives of Potomac rent for a season? She's still renting.
She's renting a big, beautiful home, though.
Yeah, she is. Quentin Dean said Brooks tipped the feds and about Jen, and I love him.
No, okay. Brooks didn't.
All right, guys. Well, that was it for the Real Housewives of New York. As you guys know, we will be getting the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this Sunday. So that's a lot to be excited about. But before then, tonight is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we have to focus on that because it's just going to get more and more insane as we go. So with that, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. I have 2 more pre-records coming for you guys today. I know this has been like a video day, a video dump day. I hate how they say photo dump on social media, but that's what this has been. It's been like 6 or 7 videos. So I apologize, but I hope you guys enjoy them. And before we go, watch this. This is like my dessert for you guys. Go ahead.
Really? Guys, don't forget you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kempire Daily, where you can get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. And also be sure to subscribe to my podcast where you get an unfiltered, uncensored version of these hot topics as well. Kempire Radio.
All right. And someone just asked too, Chris, question, why is the media talking more about Erica than Jen Shah? I think right now because their season is playing out, and I think that we'll get a lot more information about Jen Shah as their season starts to play out. And also, had Jen Shah have been going to court in October, it would have added to that kind of media circus, but she's not. Now she's going to court in March. So we're going to see the whole season play out, then get a reunion, then probably get a month or two off and then have that court case coming up, but they'll already be filming season 3 by then. So,
yeah.
All right.
I definitely think after it goes to court, because right now nothing's really happening. I mean, there are things happening behind the scenes on her part, but there's nothing to report on besides her just being problematic.
Yeah, and it's also like for Erica, it's unfolding every single day. There's something new. There's an attorney who's talking about it. There's her going back and forth. There's someone telling someone to take Lexapro. It's like, if I didn't have a hat on, I'd pull my hair out right now. So that's what it feels like watching this. All right, Kempire, I appreciate you.
Thank you
so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy Robbie.
Beverly Hills.
Am I trying to make that a thing?
Yeah, you are.
All right. Well, that's fetch. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. I'll see you so very soon. And I'm dropping 2 pre-records in like the next hour. So see you then. Bye, guys.